All right, so we are going to be going over a second review for Friday's follow-up test, and these problems were identified as problems that a lot of people missed. So there's a couple things that we need to go over, and I will talk about those here. All right, so let's just jump in. First of all, one of the new things here that maybe you didn't notice is that Get More Math uses a star for a multiplication symbol. It does mean multiply. So if that's what threw you off, then hopefully you're good with all the rest. Okay. One of the skills that you're going to need to know going into this, so when we learn how to multiply fractions, we learn how to multiply across the top and multiply across the bottom. But that doesn't address what to do with these whole numbers. Well, those whole numbers, we can't multiply with those whole numbers. So what we're going to do is we have to actually make these improper. Okay, so I want to just talk about that real quick. I know some of you are kind of there, you've been there, but I just want to talk about this first of all. So we have a problem that says it's 3 3/4. Now, the rule of that fourths is saying that I've got 3 whole things, pizzas, and they're cut into fourths. That's what the 4 means. So each one of these is cut into 4 pieces. So, and they're equal size. All the pizzas are equal size and all the pieces are equal size, even though it doesn't look like it with my drawing. Okay, so it's saying you have 3 whole pizzas. So 3 and 3/4. So 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. And that's how much you have. Okay, so that's what that fraction means. Okay, so what is this improper fraction then? Well, the improper fraction is saying, well, you've got 3 3/4. Well, if everybody got 1 piece, how many pieces are there? Oh, okay. Well, let's go ahead and count that. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. How many pieces would there be if everybody gets 1 piece? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this ended up being, so there's 15 pieces, and they're all cut into fourths. Okay. So this is saying I've got 3 whole, but to figure out how many pieces that was, I had to multiply it by 4, because each one had 4 pieces. And then I just simply had to add the 3 extras from over here. And so that gave me 15, and they're still fourths because the pizzas are still cut into fourths. So the size of the piece is 1/4 of a whole. That's what that's saying. So you'll see me do this little thing with the swoop-de-doo, because you know what? Honestly, nobody wants to draw that picture and count the individual pieces every single time. You don't want to do that. So we have a shortcut. So we recognize that every whole is going to have 4 parts. So whatever this bottom number is, every whole is going to have that many parts. So we start off by saying, well, if every whole has that many parts, then, and there's that, this many whole, I'm just going to multiply these. 4 times 3. So that tells me how many parts are in the whole. Pizzas, pies, whatever. And then I'm going to add the 3 extras. So 12 plus 3 is 15. And that's why I got 15. So 15. And then the fourths, it's still going to be the same size of pizza. It's 1/4 of a whole. So 15 fourths. And so that's how to find the improper fractions. That you have to be able to do to multiply these. You have to be able to do that. Okay, so if you can't, then we need to work on that. And that's something you can ask, hey, I need to work on this. And I'll give you some practice problems on that. Okay. All right. So we don't need to really have that there. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Let's go ahead and jump in there. All right. So 3 3/4 and times 3 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and loop-de-loo. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15. So 15 fourths. Times 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13 fourths. And now we look for cross-reducing. There is no cross-reducing. So I've got 15 times 13. 15, carry the 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 5, 9. So 195 sixteenths. So I multiply across the top. I get 195. and multiply across the bottom, I get 16. So 195, 16. Okay, now it does say here that we need to write it as proper or mixed. So proper, fraction, or mixed. That means that I can't leave it in this form. So now you've got to go back, and I know, I mean, to some degree, use a calculator, okay? I mean, honestly. I do have multiplication charts to 20. How did I get those? I Googled it. A 20's multiplication chart. I get. Okay, so I could say, well, okay, 16, it goes in, and it was 16 and what? 195. So I can go down my 16 column until I find 195. So I'm just going to go down here, 16 to 195. There's 192. Okay, so 208 is too big, so I'm stopping here. So that's 12. Okay, so 192, that's 12. Okay, so that's going to be 12, and then how many left over? So let me go back to that. Okay, so it's going to go in 12 times. How do I know that? I just looked it up on the chart. 12 times. But 12 times 16 was 192, and I need 195, so I need to subtract that. 195 minus 192 is 3. How many did I have left over? 3. 3 sixteenths. It's still going to be sixteenths. So you can use that chart, and that will help. Okay, and then I just subtract what I have from that nearest product that's below, and that will work. Okay. All right, so let's take a look then at this next problem. So I'm going to zoom that in, and let's take a look at that. Okay, so move that way. Okay, so 2 times 3, so this is 6 plus 1 is 7, so 7/3 times 4 times that's 16, 17, 18, 19, 19 fourths. So now I'm multiplying across the top, across the bottom, so I get 12ths. 7 times 9 is 63, carry the 6, that's 13. So 133/12. Now, if you know your 12s, that would be awesome. Because 12s are, I mean, let's face it, 12s you should know based on your place value. Let's say you don't know 12s. So you're going to come over here. I'm going to use a different color. Okay, so you go down your 12s, and it was 133. So you're going to go down until you run into the number closest to 123 but smaller, 133 but smaller, and that is this 132 right here. And I come back and I say, oh, look, it's 11. So it's going to be 11, and let's go ahead and write that down. Okay, so it goes in 11 times, but 11 times 12 is 132. So how many did I have left over? Well, 133 minus 132 is 1. So it's going to be 1/12. Okay, so you can use that place value chart. I mean, it's there. I'll attach a copy of it for this lesson, so you can use that. You can print it out, use it yourself, whatever. If you're in class on Thursday and you really want one, I'll get one for you. Okay, so this next one, I'm going to just really kind of talk right now about signs. So signs are going to be important here. I know some of you did the math right, and then you got the sign wrong. That really kind of stinks. So get all the way there to the end and then blow it on that. So the sign rules on multiplication and divide. Okay, so if it's same sign, in other words, if you're adding a positive times a positive or a negative times a negative, and that goes the same for divide. Okay, if it's both positive or both negative, then your result, your answer is going to be positive. If it's different, so positive times a negative and a negative times a positive, different. One's positive, one's negative, then the result's going to be negative. So when I'm looking at this, it's same sign, it's going to be positive. Okay, same sign, positive. That makes it easier. All right, so now I ignore those signs because it doesn't have anything to do with the actual converting to improper. So 3 times 4 is 12, 13, 14. 14/3. 3 times 3 is 9, 10, 11. So 11/3. So 14 times 11, 14, 14. So 154 ninths. Now this one's a little easier. In fact, I guess you could probably find it on the chart since it's a 20s chart, but this one's a little easier, and I'm going to go ahead and divide and just do a long division here. 9 goes into 154. If I have a one-digit number, that's a little bit easier. So that goes in once. Subtract, that's going to be 64. That's, oh my gosh, 6, 7. So that's 63, so minus 1. So that's going to be 17 and 1. Here's the remainder's always on that top, 17 ninths. So this here, the ninths should match. And you'll notice that on all the other ones, the denominator matches between the improper and the mixed, the denominator matches. So make sure that's happening. Now I'm going to talk about this one and not do it, okay? But minus, that's a negative. This is not. So this is different sign. Your answer is going to be negative. So whatever answer you get there, it's going to be negative. And I might as well. Okay, so 12, 13, 14, 15 fourths, 6, 7 halves. Okay, so I'm going to have 8 and 15 times 7. 7 times 5 is 35. Carry the 3. That's going to be 10. 8 goes in there 12 times, which is 96. What's 13 times 8? 24. Oh, it goes in 13 times with a remainder of 1. Because it's 104. So 13 remainder 1. So 13 and 1/8. And again, you could probably find that on the chart. But there you go. All right. I'm going to skip down to divide. Divide is the same step. Okay, and there's two crucial things. So I'm going to do two problems here. Number one, we're going to do the same first step. So I'm going to do this. 30 times 4 is 12, 13, 14. So 14 thirds. And that is negative, and it's divide. So 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. 7 fourths. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now, this is where it gets different. That divide is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. Multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, so this is multiplying by the reciprocal. So you still have negative 14 thirds. The front doesn't change. That's like your 2 marks. The divide becomes times. The 7 fourths becomes 4 sevenths. You flip it. This was negative also, and so this is negative. So same sign, we're going to have positive. So 7 times 3 is 21. So I'm just multiplying across the bottom, multiply across the top. And then positive 16, carry on 4, 5, 56. Okay. 21 goes in there, let's see, 3 times would be 60 something, so it's going to be 2 times. So 21 times 2 is 42. So 56 minus 42 will give you the difference, and that should be 14 21s. Oh, this one reduces. Oh, wow. All right. It reduced. So I actually could have reduced right here. That would have made life easier. So that's 2 and 2 thirds. Positive. Okay. I'm checking that. Negative 8 over 3. Yep, 2 and 2 thirds. All right, so this one might have stumped some of you because you're like wondering what the heck is that, and I forgot to go over it before the test. But this is just a division problem. So you have 4 1/2 divided by 4 1/3. That's all. That's it. That's the difference. So now we go through it. 2 times 4 is 8, 9. 9 halves. Divided by 3 times 4 is 12, 13. 13 thirds. Same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay. 27 over 26. 26 goes in there one time with the remainder of 1. So 1 and 1/26. All right, so that is, you can see I'm kind of going faster, but you can kind of see the setup. I wanted to make sure I went over one of these types of problems so that you could see that it's the same thing. It's just division. This is the division bar, and so you're just dividing that. I'll do one more of those, and guess what? It's different sign, so let's not forget about that. So negative 2 and 2/3 divided by 3 and 1/3. So 3 times 2 is 6, 7, 8, so negative 8/3. 3 times 3 is 9, 10, divided by 10/3. So we are going to negative 8/3 times by reciprocal, and we got some reducing. Yay, 1, 1. Reducing, yay, negative 4, 5. So the answer is going to be negative 4/5. Negative because, double checking my sign, double check every time. Different sign. That was negative, that's positive. So we have negative. Go back and double check and make sure you put it in right. I'm telling you, it's like one person, I went through their test and there was three different problems were correct in the number and wrong in the sign. Go back and look at the sign and see what it should be. You should last, even if you like do the whole test and then all you do is you go back and look at every single problem and check the sign. Okay. I guess, if you're not sure, ask. All right, so that's all I'm going to go over right now. I mean, I could go over all of those problems, but I think that's good enough. So you have the lesson today is just going through and doing these. Watch these videos. Use the multiplication chart if you need to. You can use it on the test. It's so much easier when you actually know your math facts, but it's still kind of tedious. So that is the assignment for today. I'll post a video and I'll post the assignment. There'll be different problems, but the same concept. Thanks.